there's like these creepy tunnels, and we were deep in these things just shooting. I mean, we're like 40 yards in the tunnel, and a dude just comes walking down. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing down here?" We're like, "What the?"
The Creator Podcast with Jeff and Gus. I'm Gus.
And I'm Jeff.
That's true. And today we have a special guest, Ricky Umberger, and he is a writer, director, editor. He makes movies, and they're horror movies. And Ricky, welcome to the show. We appreciate having you.
All right, thanks for having me on, fellas.
Yeah. I don't know if I explained that best of summarizes what you do creatively. Maybe you could talk a little bit more.
Oh, no, I mean, I think that does. I did the Fear footage and the Fear footage 2. Wrote them, directed them, edited them. So you were pretty much on the money. That's why you guys had me on there, is for those movies. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you've done some other stuff?
No. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Nice.
As far as, creative aspect of it.
Yeah. You were never kidnapped as a child or anything like that?
Possibly. Why?
I don't know. I was just going off like the voices. I don't know. Is that a possibility or no?
No, it's not.
No. Okay. Well, I guess the voices are wrong. No, there's really no voices. I was just kind of, I don't know, something in my head was like, was he kidnapped? That'd be interesting if you were. It might bring out a weird films and stuff.
If you got a hunch, you got to run for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's any coincidence that your first movie and your second movie are a sequel after the first movie. When you were making the first movie, were you already thinking about, oh man, when we do the second one, it's going to be like this, it's going to be awesome?
No. So I thought it would just be like a one and done thing. I was kind of just doing it for myself, really, at first, and then it did well. It for like for what I spent making it and for what I put into it, it did really good. So I was like, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind making another one. People are obviously interested. So I figured I'd do another one at that point. Kind of once it was out for about a month, I saw the numbers, it did good. I was, I didn't mind doing another one. I had ideas, but I didn't know if it would be worth doing another one until I saw that.
Right. No, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of like a dream come true in a sense. It's like you don't have anybody telling you what to do. You just went out there and did it. You probably had fun doing it.
Yeah.
And then the hardest part.
That's the cool part about it is I would have done it. I was going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? I didn't think it would make money or anything like that. I was going to do it because I wanted to make a horror movie my whole life. So I was going to do it regardless. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well go all the way with it and do film festivals, do the whole thing. And that's, it kind of snowballed from there a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I mean, I definitely applaud that. And I think you're probably a rare version of that because, we live in an interesting time now. There's so many different platforms and so many companies trying to do it big. And I think you just kind of, I think it's kind of amazing that you just did it, ran with it. And,
there was like, once it kind of did the first Fear footage, once it did like the festivals and stuff like that, there was interest from like, in distribution companies and things like that. But I didn't feel like they could do anything for me that I couldn't do for myself. So it didn't make sense. Why would I get more hands involved and be splitting whatever this could make more ways if I didn't need to? You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense. So that's why I was like, I'll just do it myself.
Right. Was there anybody
and just gave it to someone?
Well, was there like a big distributor in mind, or just kind of more independent ones that are looking to take advantage?
Yeah, I mean, you never really know, but there was like maybe not big, but like some that have stuff on Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah,
one or two documentaries on there, things like that. But it just didn't. I just heard nightmares from distribution companies, and you got to wait a year before you see any money if you do it all and stuff like that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes it is better to, just like kind of like making the movie, just keep it DIY and then you have a little bit more control.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Right. That's cool. How old are you, man?
I'm 31.
31, cool. That's a good age to get started in it,
So did either of you see their movie or no?
We both haven't actually. No, we watched trailers. We checked it out. I like a lot of the visuals from it. I saw you have a lot of different it seems like you have a lot of different scary things in it, where it's almost like an anthology. Am I right on that?
The first fear footage is, the second isn't.
Okay.
So it takes a different. I didn't want to do, and that was another thing when I was doing the sequel. I didn't want to do the same thing again. I already did it.
Yeah.
I wanted to
smart.
challenge, do like a new challenge. I already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going around. I was trying to, sneak clips of it and stuff, looking through reviews and everything. And so I watched a bunch of reviews, and all the reviewers are like, "Yeah, I mean, this movie was awesome." Like they're like, and basically, all I can do is read you the back because anything else is going to be a spoiler. So like nobody really dives into like the meat of it, which I guess is good for you that nobody's spoiling it. But so there, I can only look so deep.
and the thing with that is, it's good, especially with this, like a found footage horror movie. You want to leave some type of mystery to it. Even though it's a found footage movie, it's not real, but you want to just leave as much lore as you can that makes it people more interested. Rather than figuring out exactly what it is and then you just move on.
When you write these films, how long does it take you to actually do the writing?
The first fear footage was that one was different because I didn't really set out to make a full-length feature length movie. I did one short, and then I was like, oh, that turned out pretty good. It was like a 13-minute little segment, and then I did another one, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And if I could do one more and then just do a wraparound, I'll have a full anthology. So that one went like that. It kind of was just in pieces. I didn't just sit down to write a movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but in the second one, I did do that, and it actually, it came together pretty quick. It was maybe 2 weeks, and then we kind of just set up and started shooting it.
And it seems like a lot of the DIY movies, kind of like it's you and then kind of a bunch of your friends who have like kind of a different bunch of talents. Maybe some of your friends like worked in a haunted house, so they know some special effects, and then someone has like a really creepy basement, so you're like, okay, that'll make a good setting for this scene or whatever it is.
That's exactly what it is basically. But the first, both movies are just people that I know. Nobody's ever done a movie or anything like that. So it was just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you mind doing this? Oh, okay, I'll do it. And it kind of just went like that. And then the second one, I knew it was going to be me and a friend of mine would be the two main in that. So it was even easier because only person I needed to know what was happening was him, really. It wasn't like 15 people. I need you to do this, and next weekend can we meet up and shoot this?
Yeah,
right.
When you're close to no budget, doing a film, it gets tough to get everybody on board the way you want to do it.
You're 100% right. That's the hardest part, is getting everybody as interested as you are, as on board, getting everybody together at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The reward is kind of the end product. You're kind of like, hey, can you like lay in this puddle of blood for an hour? And it's kind of like, well, you're not really, paying me or not paying me much or whatever it is. And it's like, well, like just think like at the end, it's going to be an awesome shot. Like when you see it, you're going to love it. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Kind of getting people in that will do it.
Right. You kind of have to have a passion for it to be able to do it. If you're not, hiring professional actors to do
you're right.
For you.
Yeah, because they want to be there, even though everybody that was in it, they wanted to be there. They did it. They were all excited, to see something come together. So it wasn't like it was hard, but you're right.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I dabbled in like I told you when we messaged each other, I've done some basically no budget shorts. I've done about 7, and so yeah, it's a fun, interesting process where the hardest part usually is just getting everything like on board, and it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
As a director / you have lots of different positions you have to be. I'm sure you were the main producer as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah. As far as actually making the movies, I pretty much did everything other than the people that you see on screen. I couldn't have done them without them, but
right.
As far as like any of the behind the editing or any of that, I just came to him, was like, we're going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't everybody was on board. It was good. It worked out. And the second one we filmed I thought really fast. It was like, pretty much filmed the whole thing in like 2 weekends.
Okay. So like 4 days then.
It eventually, we had to do some dub over, some voiceover stuff.
Right.
A small scene here, small scene there, but like a good 80% of it was just over like 4 days in a weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, we went away to a cabin and shot there.
Do you have anything lined up next, or are you still thinking about that?
So, I mean, if I would like to do a third one just to wrap it up, because I feel like it would make a great trilogy, I think.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely unanswered stuff that can be explained that people probably, people that saw it may want to be explained. So I got to see how this one does, and maybe I'll do a Fear Footage 3 if anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you're stepping away from it or anything like that.
No.
That's awesome. And I know, like, so the found footage genre is, it's notorious for kind of being either you love it or you hate it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know, like, so the biggest grossing probably found footage everybody knows is like the Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I don't remember what year that came out. What was that, 2002 or something?
99.
99. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you're filming this, are you thinking like, I really don't want people to think this is Blair Witch Project, or like you're aiming for that, or what are your thoughts on like the Blair Witch Project and that kind of genre of found footage?
Yeah, I feel like, my thoughts on the Blair Witch Project, I think it's a masterpiece, but I also feel like anytime you do a found footage movie, it's going to be compared to the Blair Witch Project.
Right.
There's somebody somewhere that's going to write a review, and that's going to be in there somewhere. Hey, reminiscent of, it's just, I feel like that's a given. But I mean, I feel like it's also a compliment. I mean, that's the best found footage movie, so that's a compliment. But as long as you're trying to do something different, just in the same form of filming, I don't see a problem.
Yeah. I remember when that came out, like all the buzz and everything was that it was real. I remember thinking like, and I forget how old I was. I was too young to see it in theaters at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, and so I remember everybody, like all my friends and stuff. Oh yeah, that's real. They actually found that footage in the woods and all this stuff. And so I went into it with all my friends, but I wasn't old enough, so I had to buy a ticket to Runaway Bride. And so I got my one ticket to Runaway Bride. All my older friends got their ticket to Blair Witch, and then I had to sneak in past the security guard pretending I was part of this other family. This was before like you could like get close to people, and so I was like tucked in with this family, and I walked in, pretended I was like one of the little kids, and then I got a seat. But yeah, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, holy crap, this is actually real. This is crazy that they're showing this in theaters. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, that was the genius of that, was the marketing. Like, whether you loved it or hated it, 300 million plus people saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or however many. So they don't care if you loved it or hate it. The marketing got you there to see it. That's all that matters to them. And it did well, and the marketing was the reason.
Yeah.
Because it was marketed as this is real. So people were like, what is this? I got to see this.
Runaway Bride was actually an incredible movie. Changed my life.
Maybe I should have seen that instead. Then that
movie was really defined.
Yeah, who was in that? Was that Richard Gere and I want to say
Julia Roberts, right?
Julia Roberts, yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically the sequel to Pretty Woman.
Yeah, it was really ahead of its time. Runaway Bride. Now, are there, within the found footage genre, are there any inspirations that you took from in any other horror movies or indie horror that's doing found footage?
I mean, inspiration? I don't think it was really inspiration. The first Fear footage being an anthology, that got comparisons to have you guys ever seen VHS, that franchise?
Yeah. I've seen like one or two of those.
Yeah. It kind of, there was a lot of people like, oh, this is just another VHS, because it was a anthology found footage, even though it's not the same at all. It's just, it's a anthology found footage, so it kind of got compared to that. But that actually, that wasn't an inspiration. It just came together that way.
Yeah, it seems like people always want kind of a basis for comparison. They're always looking at something else to compare it to.
Yeah. Oh, this is like that. Why can't it just be what it is? But yeah, there wasn't really any inspiration, but I guess just my love for the found footage genre is kind of, I wanted to make something of mine for the genre.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the best approach is. You see something, you like it, what would you do? How could you
Yeah,
make it better in your way?
because I feel like found footage, if it's done like right, it can be terrifying. So I feel like a found footage movie done correctly and a traditionally shot movie done correctly, the found footage will be scarier because it almost makes the viewer uh, a character in the, you know what I mean? It's like a first person. You're the character in the movie now. You got to go where the camera goes, so it can be scarier.
Right. Now, have you ever seen August Underground's Mortem?
No, but I know about it, but I've never seen it. Isn't there like 3 of those?
Yeah, that's a trilogy. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
August Underground, then Mortem, and then Penance.
Okay. No, I've never seen them, but I know about them.
Yeah, those are on a whole different level of brutal.
They're snuff films, right? Or like
They're
supposed to
basically like snuff films, but most people that watch that, they say to themselves, "Was this real? Was this
be? Okay.
this has to be real? Like, there's no way you could do all this stuff." And like, because the special effects were, and it's found footage, so it's like, it's like shaky cam kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
they have all the special effects rigged up like for like slashing a throat or something with its like latex and like all the blood pumps and everything underneath, and
Yeah.
so it's basically like, holy shit, like that person just put a knife up to that throat, slit it across, like no cut or nothing, and now there's blood pouring out. Like they're like, this is real. Like, wow, what is going on?
I gotta check it out. I've never seen it, but I know about it. I might even actually own one. Possibly. It's probably in my collection over there.
Yeah, my brother was in the second one.
Ah, okay.
He plays a dead guy on the ground. But yeah, I was in Pittsburgh when they were doing all the filming of that Toe Tag Productions and stuff.
Oh, is that where they're made up in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they were all being made in Pittsburgh now. I think I'm not sure what Toe Tag's up to nowadays, but yeah, that was crazy found footage. But yeah, there is something about that first person perspective. It's almost like you're almost playing, and some of the clips I saw is kind of the cops like point of view, so he's like holding the gun and stuff. It's almost
Yeah.
like watching a first person shooter, which is like
Yeah.
puts you right there. It's kind of
It's his
interesting.
body camera, so that's the wraparound. So that's how you see his perspective his entire time. It's through that. And another thing with found footage is you gotta. There's a big question of why are they still filming this? So I was like,
Yeah.
well, if I do a police officer's body camera, that's never going to turn off. So that's why it's still being filmed. You won't
Right.
even you won't even ask that question. You'll be in it right from the jump because you're like, oh, this makes sense. This would be filmed.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and when you're making that kind of thing, how do you watch the playback? Like, I know that's the weirdest thing with these kind of films. It's usually harder to like I shot one that was sort of that way, and I was in another room. I wasn't even in the room where the actors were. I was like watching it on a small little monitor as it was happening.
So the Fear footage and the Fear footage 2 are super low budget. I shot both of them on an iPhone. So
Okay.
I would just shoot it and then watch it right there. Okay, I like this. This looks good. I didn't. I felt like I didn't need a whole lot for what I wanted to do. I wanted it to look like real footage.
Right.
So I didn't need big productions and if you're probably shooting traditionally too, that's a little different. You got to do lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, somewhat depending. Like one film I did was slightly found footage, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then that one we did a little differently, and I wasn't holding the camera or directing a DP or anything like that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean these for the majority of, especially the first one, it's majority an iPhone and a flashlight. I mean that's unless it's daytime, that's what it is, and I feel like it works well
Right.
as just the shadowy flashlight in a creepy house. It works.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get in any trouble with anybody not realizing you're shooting a horror movie and kind of being like, what the hell's going on over there?
Not really in trouble, but there so in the first one there's these tunnels that we filmed at. They're down like underneath a bridge here in Maryland, and there's like the old.
Sorry on that. That was a ghost.
You good? And
Yeah.
so they're creepy. There's like these creepy tunnels, and we were deep in these things, just shooting. It was just me and a friend of mine, James, who's actually he's in both movies, but we're just shooting in there. And I mean, we're like 40 yards into this dark ass tunnel, and a dude just comes walking down while we're shooting. All we got is a flashlight. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing down here?" We're like, "What the fuck would a person be? What are you doing down here?" He didn't have a flashlight. I mean, they're pitch black without lights.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah, see, that's always my fear, like those tunnels and stuff. It's like I'm not afraid of ghosts or anything. I'm afraid of like rabbit raccoons and like crackheads, like that.
Yeah, and then those that we filmed that's how it was. I mean, people were like living in these tunnels.
Oh,
and
geez.
They were so sketchy, and we went down there at night like twice, and then we would go down in the daytime because the tunnels were so dark inside. It could be it could be summertime outside, daylight, and it would look like it's nighttime in there. So we just went down and shot inside of them during the day.
Wow.
That's like the craziest thing that happened, huh? The people. So, besides filmmaking and stuff, what kind of got you into horror? And we always ask people on the show, like anything, really weird that's happened in their life, anything interesting that maybe people would think is not believable or unreal. Have you any kind of experiences like that?
No, I don't really have like none of those, I've seen a ghost stories or any of that. I feel like just getting into horror was, I think, so it stems from loving Halloween, the holiday.
Yeah.
So even as a kid, I loved Halloween. And I feel like Halloween and horror movies just go hand in hand. At some point, if you love one, you're going to love the other.
Right.
So it kind of just did that, it transformed into, I'm going to watch some scary movies now. And it kind of just stemmed from that. That's, as far as loving horror.
Yeah. Yeah, Halloween's a good one. It's a good fun. I mean, the movie itself and then the season.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, are you like a super big collector? Like, is your DVD collection overflowing and like you got toys all over the wall? Is that the kind of horror fan you are?
Can you guys see where I'm sitting right now? You can't see, can you?
No, I'm just making assumptions because
you just described it exactly almost. No, I mean, there's not like toys everywhere, but I'm in my basement right now. I got posters on the walls and stuff, and I got a lot of Blu-rays and stuff like that. And then the living room, there's some horror stuff. We got the Shining rug. That's the rug for the house. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I have to imagine it. You have a passion for it to want to make movies. So I have to assume that you're on that high caliber of horror fan with the huge collections and things. I see some of these people. They have every single Michael Myers toy and Freddy Krueger's on the wall. And I mean, it's rad too, though.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got all that.
Yeah.
Do you do the horror circuit? You ever like go to those conventions and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done them with the movies, but I do them just as a fan. I like to go buy things and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely do all those.
Okay, but yeah, you haven't gotten a booth yet.
Like Monster Mania. You guys ever done that up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey?
Yeah.
We met at Monster Mania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were both vendors there. I was selling zombie baby dolls, and Gus was doing his art thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Full circle. So we're all connected in a way,
Yeah, we've probably seen each other like at those places because I mean for 10 years I went to every one as far as the Monster Manias, and then have you guys done the Atlantic City one yet?
I haven't. No, I used to do them all, but I kind of stopped doing any shows. It just kind of got draining. Like I would just sell it there. I would never attend. Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet. I was gonna do that with the first movie, but I feel like if I go there, I don't want to have to sit at a table the whole time, and and I know it's good for business, but I don't know. I don't know if I would. So I just haven't done it yet, but eventually I will possibly. But now that they're all getting canceled right now, so we'll have to wait.
Yeah. There's definitely a fun to doing it if you're like into that kind of business side of it. If you're into like sales and customers and meeting people that you're gonna probably see people who have already seen your film since you got it out there for a little while now.
That's true.
And then find new fans and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna do the Atlantic City one. That's actually this week. It was gonna be this weekend coming up. That's it's just called the New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival. So so when the first Fear footage came out, it played. That was the first film festival it played at. So that I went there. I didn't sell the movie then because it wasn't out yet. It was just in the festivals. But
Yeah.
I went there because it was, showing. And then I just went back, I think the next two after that, just because it was a cool convention. It was in a great venue.
Yeah, and did it do good at that convention? The screening of it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it did well. A lot of people. So we went. It was me and like 3 friends. We went the whole weekend, and we like dressed up and passed flyers out to let people know that it was showing at a certain time. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of people that showed up to see it. It just the way they had the film festival set up that time wasn't great. The next year they fixed it. They had it like too close to the convention. I mean, it was away, but you could hear some convention noise. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it kind of affected it.
And are you able to sell copies at the screenings like that?
Yeah, I probably could. I didn't, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, because it's from what I saw online, you're doing some pretty cool packaging with like the way you got like the evidence bag and you got like the note inside and all that stuff. So I feel like people eat that stuff up. They love to have special cool stuff that comes with the movie.
Right. That's why I knew, especially with being a smaller movie, with the first one, I knew I had to. If I was going to get people to buy the Blu-ray, it would have had to be something different. If it's just a slip or just cover art in a regular Blu-ray case, I don't know if it's not going to draw that much attention. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Especially for found footage, you kind of want to have that kind of authentic feel of like, there's a missing poster inside and all this stuff, like bloody note, that kind of thing.
Even before you see the movie, it's a whole experience. You know what I mean? You're already into this thing. You've already read a letter. There's a missing poster. So now you're already kind of like, I got to see this. What is this?
Yeah, how hard is it to get your hands on some evidence bags? Is that just like on Amazon or?
So the thing is, they're not. So what it was is they're just like plastic sealable bags, and then I got evidence tape, and I just taped the top of each one. So it kind of is what an evidence bag would be, but it was just 2 different pieces I bought and just put together.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had like a friend in the sheriff's office or something.
I was going to say, did you go to school for anything that led you to this? Like, I mean, you kind of you're really smart on how you put it all together. I mean, I think that's, you deserve a lot of credit for that.
I appreciate it.
The creative efforts throughout.
No, I didn't go to any type of schooling for either filmmaking or business or anything like that. No, it just, I mean, I don't feel like it takes a lot to realize you got to draw attention to something, to get people interested in it.
Also sounds like you're kind of asking yourself, what as a fan, what would I want? And you're kind of just making what you would want, right?
No, I would be interested in this. That, what I mean? I would be like, I'm going to buy one of those for sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all it is. And you want it to be something that people feel like they want to own or they want to see, either way.
Yeah, it's like such a simple solution in a sense, but I think a lot of artists and creators and people in general just forget that kind of rule. Like what would I think is awesome?
Yeah, or like what I like, especially with the first one. What I learned a lot is that it's marketing is everything. It doesn't matter how good your movie is, how good your album is, your whatever you do. If no one knows it exists, you know what I mean. If no one's seeing it or hearing it, it doesn't matter how good it is. The hardest part of anything is getting people to want to spend money on it, and then whether they liked it or not, it's out of your hands at that point. But they've spent money on it. You've done your job to get them to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. You just want people to give it a chance.
Yeah, because you could do a lot of great things, but if you don't put as much into getting it seen or marketing it, having something interesting, then it's kind of pointless. That's not that it's pointless, but it's kind of a waste of time. Like you got to put as much work into that as you do as the making the thing.
Yeah. Do you think maybe there's some guy in his basement had found the cure for everlasting life, but he just doesn't have a good marketing team, so nobody knows about it?
Exactly. There it is.
Yeah, he's got to exist.
He can't get it in the right hands.
How old do you think he is now, though?
At least 200. And Gus, you've been working on the Fountain of Youth potion in your basement, right?
I got a secret recipe going up.
You dabble a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a dabbler in it. I try to keep it fresh. A little bit of time travel, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, so I mean, I keep thinking about what's going to be next for you, you know. So let's say you do a third one, maybe the sales are a little bit down, maybe they're up. Do you keep making them, or do you step away from it, or do you go in a different direction?
I would probably just do one more of these. I don't know. I mean, because it's not that I don't want to be like a filmmaker. You know, I just made these
Yeah.
movies. It's not. I didn't set out to do that. Like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker. I just was like, oh, I want to make a movie. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just do another one and then that'll be it. I've kind of done what I wanted to do as far as this. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because if I do a third one, who knows? You know, it sells 40,000 copies. I might do another one.
Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, it seems like you got into it because you had a passion, and usually my motto for anything like that is I'll keep doing it until I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah,
and then,
that's true.
And then it becomes a job, and then it's like, why am I doing this job?
Yeah, you're just forcing it. Like as long as I'm having fun doing, you know, creating this, then it's not work. But once it becomes work, then it's like I don't want to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know yet.
Do you think there's any, thinking about like maybe like the last 5 years, any really, really good horror movies that you've enjoyed like in theaters? Like
in the last 5 years, yeah, I mean, I like the new Halloween. I thought that was good as far as in theaters. But let me see. I like what Ari Aster's doing, who did Hereditary and Midsummer. Did you guys see either of those?
Yeah, I saw both of those.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. So, yeah, there's been some good stuff. I had a daughter a year ago, so I ain't been able to get to the movies in the last year as often as I used to. So I'm a little bit behind on all the newer, you know, stuff I wanted to see. But
right,
there's been some good stuff, and I'm more interested in like more not lower budget, but more independent stuff. That gets me more excited than like a Pet Sematary remake or something like that. You know what I mean? Even though I saw the Pet Sematary remake, but I'd rather see like some lower budget anthology that's coming out that looks great.
Right, and plus like with that, you know, you don't have any like big giant companies that say, oh, you can't do this or you can't say this, and you have a little bit more control.
Yeah. But there's been some good stuff. I mean, I feel like horror's still in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of at a golden age right now of horror in a sense. Like there's so much of it. There's a lot of top quality stuff coming out. I think the new the first one was really well done.
Yeah, first one was great. I didn't see the second one yet. I own it on Blu-ray, but I haven't got around to watching it.
Yeah, it's okay. To me, it wasn't as good. It's kind of losing its touch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard. Like some people said it just was kind of overdone, too much CGI, too long.
Yeah, definitely too much CGI. That's kind of a killer for me.
Yeah, I felt like the first one kind of had that as far as it was a lot of unnecessary CGI in the first one too. So, and I heard the second one was even more. I haven't got to it, but I'm going to watch it and I expect to like it, but the CGI can definitely kill some things.
Yeah, I like them both. I think a lot of that CGI just comes down to cost because they're just looking at money at that point. They're dollar signs.
It's whatever's quicker, cheaper, or not even cheaper, but just quicker because, you know, time on set is what costs money.
Right.
Yeah, so if you can get it done, we don't got to set up a whole day of a shot. We can get this done in 20 minutes in a computer. Let's do that.
Right. Throw a guy in a green suit as opposed to building a 5 foot tall big monster or something.
Yeah, it takes 2 days to do. Yeah.
Have you seen Us?
I didn't. Oh no, I didn't. I wanted to. See, that's when I really started to miss all the new stuff. Was when Us came out. Like I saw Get Out. I was excited for Us. And that's when I was like, oh, I forget when that came out, but I think I just had my daughter, so I couldn't get to the theater then. And then I started to miss everything that came out after that, for the most part.
Yeah.
But I heard that was
you're not bringing her to the theater.
What is it?
I said it's good you're not bringing her to the theater. It's always crazy when you see these parents bringing in little babies.
Just describe the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, have you? I know they do. Like I forget where it's at. I think it's somewhere around here. I'm in like Eastern PA. But they do like those outdoor drive-in movie theater, like
The
horror convention things.
You're talking about the Mahoning Theater. That's in what is it? What is it called? Lee Heighton, PA? Is that what it is?
That sounds like the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like you watched a bunch of horror movies and then like you camp out there. So that
Yeah.
sounds pretty crazy.
I've actually done it like 4 or 5 times. It's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because they'll do like themed weekends. They'll do like a zombie weekend, and Friday night they'll play 3 movies. Saturday night they'll play 3, and then I think that's it. They just do this Friday and Saturday. You bring a tent, it's great.
Yeah, they showed one of my films at it, like the last one, I think around Halloween. I didn't get to make it to it. I didn't get to make it out, but so I don't even know what happened. But I know it was I watched the documentary about the place, and I submitted my film right afterwards. And
okay, I didn't even know they showed film, like, as far as
normally.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and mine was a short though. It was like maybe 12 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be a great way to see it.
Yeah. That's kind of why I wanted to just see it in the drive-in I used to go to when I was younger. So, but I couldn't make it out to it.
Yeah, the Mahoney's a great drive-in though, and they do it like every weekend once the weather gets nice. And it's like they'll have theme stuff, and they do it all up. They'll have characters there, kind of walking around. It's fun.
Yeah. No, the experience, that's what's most important. And
yeah, I mean, that's what sells that. Everybody going there has already seen these movies 30 times. You're not going there to see the movie. You're going there for the experience of it.
Right. It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting lost in today.
What is it?
I was just saying, like, today's world, it's so different from, when I grew up. It's like, I mean, and especially now, it's like everybody's just in their home on their phones.
Yeah.
Youth doesn't really want to watch a film on a TV even a lot of times.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, everything you're looking at a screen at all times now.
Yeah. It's just, it's weird. I don't think I like it. And I don't think I like it for the wrong reasons. I mean, I know there's a way to you're like, well, you're just old, but I think there's such a disconnect to it. I don't know. I just feel like
you gotta adapt. That's what these kids do.
I mean, you're right. There's no changing it. It is what it is. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. Every generation hates change, though. Every single generation is always like, oh, these kids nowadays, they're terrible. They've been, 100 years ago, they were saying,
and it's always, well, when I was your age, music was better and movies were better,
Yeah, just because that's what you grew up with and you don't like change. But yeah, I mean, like from just like taking a step back and looking at it can't be healthy for all these people to have all these phones like shoved in their faces for 24/7. But I don't know. That's what people do now. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's the way of the world.
But I think we need more experiences, and I think that would change things. Where if you bring people enough good experiences, something they can't get with the phone shoved in their face, I think people would appreciate it. And I know they still do. That's why some places do really well, whether it's, Disney World or whatever it is. There's a lot of that. Even the convention circuit, like you were saying. It's all that experience.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just kind of being.
I've taken people to the conventions that really aren't into horror. Like, I mean, they're into it, but they're not die hard, go to conventions. And it feels like once you go to one, you love them. You're going to it every time it comes around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time, especially even I think sometimes people that aren't really into horror or that genre kind of have a misconception of people that like horror. I think maybe they think they're all scary, like axe murderers, or they want to hurt people and stuff. It's no, just like most of the people that I know that love death metal are the nicest people you'll ever meet.
You go to the conventions, the crowd there is the nicest people in the world. I don't know why it's kind of looked at like that, or it's looked at oh, they're they're kind of geeky. It's just they like horror movies. What is the difference in liking that or liking automobiles or liking basketball? You know what I mean?
Or My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
I almost feel like fans, no matter what it is, there's a lot of similarities when it's a fan. Whether it's crazy baseball fan guys or horror convention, the comic book convention. When it gets all the fans, I always get it because I've done all kinds of different conventions, and I always get that same almost vibration off of them all.
Yeah, because it's just I think it's probably just they're all passionate about something, so you're getting that.
Yeah, and like they take it very serious. All
Yeah.
of it. It's like this is their almost the most important thing to them in their life if they're a big fan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's kind of I find it fascinating for sure. I mean, I personally I wish I could get into stuff. I just can't get into anything. Like I just that's why I always just create, because I can't get obsessed with anything. So I'm always just like
on to the next thing.
Yeah, just making something like that I enjoy, and it's just I look at things too weird. Like I think about how it was made and what's wrong with it and all kinds of, or how I would have done it. And it takes away the enjoyment for me usually,
Maybe you could get big into like mustard, like just go out, buy every brand of mustard, do a taste testing,
Yeah.
I think condiments in general, you could probably just run through them all. Mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, you're getting now we're opening up, horizons. And then when the condiment convention comes around to town, you can meet up with people that have, same similar thoughts.
And you bust in the door almost running to get that mayo mustard,
You want that collection edition relish.
They're not going to give these little packets out after this convention.
That's right. It was like that Rick and Morty sauce or whatever.
Yeah, that was going for a lot of money, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, I don't remember that section, but
so maybe some people, that was their first condiment, and then it got them hooked. Now they're into, ketchup. They're into maybe even hot sauces, dare I say? But
hot sauce has conventions, right? Don't they?
Does it?
Does it? Hey, if it doesn't, patent pending. You need to get on that.
I'm pretty sure it does. I know that like hot sauces is
I mean, I feel like I would go to a hot sauce convention.
Yeah, I would too, for sure.
Right?
Well, then I'm pretty sure that there's a market. If that's 2 out of 3 right there.
Somebody is designing it right now. Well, because
I
that
guarantee
YouTube show took off. That Hot Ones.
Yeah.
It became they turned into that game show, and then so hot sauces. It's a hot fad right now. Hot sauces are in.
We went away. So my daughter's first birthday was last weekend. We rented a cabin to go away, a bunch of us, and we did the hot ones challenge there. We got the exact sauces and did it there. There was, I think it was 5 of them, and I only got to the 4th. The 4th one was insane. I couldn't feel my face for 2 hours, and I was like, I'm done. 2 other people did all 5 of them.
What couldn't you feel for a few hours?
My face.
Oh wow! So was that just as bad coming out or not?
It actually was. No, because it ain't like we were eating the full wing. You're just taking a bite or going as much as you can, really. So it was basically like 6 bites is all I took, the entire thing. But they were ridiculous.
I have a couple of them. I have the bomb, which is the one that people always say is insane.
I think that was the bad one.
Oh, that one. Oh, that killed me. It was. Oh my God! It was. I put too much on like a chicken nugget. I covered it and I was like, I can handle this. That was some of the worst pain I ever felt in my life. I had to keep constantly drinking milk or else my face would explode.
And it just got stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
that was the one. I think that was the 4th one, because I forget what the 5th one's called. There was like a
the last.
I think it might have been. Oh yeah, that was it. The last ad. That's it.
I was gonna say, have you guys tried Warheads, the hot ones?
What is Warheads it? Salt?
Candy? No, it's a candy.
No.
Yeah, I think they got rid of it. When I was a kid, there was 2 kinds of Warheads. There was the sour.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like the sour, and then there was a hot one, and I loved the hot one, but I think they took it off the market for some reason.
Oh, was it super hot?
It was really hot. I mean, like the sour is kind of. I mean, I was like 12 years old. Maybe I remember it weird, but it was intense. But it was so different for any candy. And then I remember they went away for a little while. They came back and it was just sour, like Warhead sour. That's it. No hot.
Were you getting your candy from some guy in a white van? Because it sounds like
he's making those.
Where was I getting it from?
Yeah, I don't know if they make Warhead hot sauce candy. I think somebody was slipping you something.
No, it was back in the day they used to. When they started the company, I was in 7th grade, so it was like 1990. Look it up. It's got to exist. So when you think of Warheads, you only think of sour. Like you never even heard of that.
No, not sour. Or I mean, not hot. No.
Yeah, I gotta look at that. Maybe it never existed. Like maybe it's one of those things where we shifted realities.
What is that called? Is that the what effect is that? There's a name for that.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, the Mandela effect, where you remember something different than it happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gus loves it.
Yeah, there's a few good ones. I mean, and like sometimes I talk to younger people and they totally have a different memory of it all, you know. So I mean, you're 31. That's a 10-year difference. What do you remember in Snow White? What did she used to say, like, to the mirror?
I've never seen Snow White.
You've never seen it? So you don't know the line, the famous line?
What is it, Snow White?
Yeah, the witch says something to the mirror.
I have no clue.
Wow, it's such a famous line.
What is it?
Well, Jeff, what do you remember?
So everybody remembers it as mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all.
Okay.
But that's not what it actually is in the movie. And the reason why people remember it one way is because people mimic it in other forms of media and people understand it different ways. So, you know.
That's
what did he actually say?
Magic mirror on the wall. Yeah.
See, and I've heard the saying, like, mirror, mirror on the wall, so I would have guessed it would have been that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Tommy Boy with Chris Farley?
But yeah.
You remember when it was in the trailer when he's talking into the fan blades?
That's not why people thought it, though. There's like, that's no way. Like, there's no way that's why people would think that because of Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy came out so many years later.
I saw Tommy Boy so many more times than I ever saw Star Wars, but...
Well, that's you.
I've never seen Star Wars.
Are you a big Star Wars fan?
No, I've never seen them.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow. See, a 10-year difference, man. It's like...
Well, it's not even. It's just that there's a lot of those type of movies that didn't really interest me. You know what I mean? So I never seen, like, great movies. I'm sure I'll love. I just have never seen them.
Yeah, and that's just fascinating. Like, I've never seen Star Wars, never seen Snow White.
Well, Star Wars. So wait, how old are you guys?
I'm 80.
What?
No, I'm 40. I'm 41.
Oh, okay, so I feel like even Star Wars is my kind of age, you know what I mean? But
it's always been a thing, kind of.
It just didn't interest me.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see Star Wars until maybe 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I decided to. It was Christmas. It was actually the year before Carrie Fisher died. I was like, it was on demand or something, and I was like, Star Wars. I've never seen it. I got some time to kill. I'll watch all three of them in a row, and you know.
So were they good? Were you upset that you hadn't seen them yet?
Not really. I mean, it was kind of neat because you're like, oh, like everybody loves this. Like I knew that there was a passion behind it, so watching it was kind of like, oh, this is neat. Like I'm seeing the thing that everybody loves so much.
Yeah, makes $5 billion a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, that's one of those things. But I'm guaranteeing that Warheads made the hot ones. You guys can look it up. If you're by a computer, it's got to be there. The hot ones.
And it was like a hot sauce flavor, like a hot pepper. You're saying?
No, not a hot sauce label. It was just
No, I meant like the flavor.
Yeah, it was like there was Warheads hot and Warheads sour. And it was really good.
I wonder if it could have been. Remember, like Crybabies was also like a sour.
Yeah.
Sour thing. I'm wondering if it was maybe an off-brand of one of those.
Was kids weren't enjoying the hot ones.
It doesn't sound like a good experience.
But like it might have killed a few kids, so they took it off.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might have happened. Like I'm thinking they took it off the market for a reason.
Yeah, every time that sucks because when something I love gets taken off the market, I'm like, oh, what was in that to make them take it off the market? I've been eating that shit for 10 years. You know?
What was your favorite thing that got taken off?
Like I like the barbecue Fritos. They don't make those anymore. They swapped them out for the chili cheese Fritos.
Okay. Yeah.
At least here in Maryland, they don't make them no more. And the lady at the store was like, "Oh, they got discontinued." I was like, "Oh man, there's no way they weren't selling."
A lot of that stuff, like they have in like Japan and like Singapore and the Philippines and stuff. Like all those crazy brands, they make them in other countries because they sell well. So it might exist somewhere. You might be able to check eBay.
Oh, I'm sure I can get it on like eBay or Amazon. Like I'm not that I'm searching for them, but I just noticed one day I don't see these anymore. You know, so and then I asked the lady and she told me they got discontinued. So
Yeah,
stuff like that. And there's also like this beef rice that me and my wife love, and we can't find anymore. It got discontinued. And I don't know why, because it's delicious. But I'm sure there was some shit in there that could give you cancer 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were disappointed when they took Four Loko off the market. That was up there. It was a quick minute, but it was gone.
That was legit killing people, though, right?
I think it was, yeah.
I think a few people died off that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want alcohol and caffeine, though, what are you gonna do? You're out of luck.
That's
no, you just mix it up.
Chug a coffee and
people put Red Bull and stuff.
But there's a reason you're like, those two things should not be together. That's why they took it off the market.
Yeah, you're chasing the dragon there. Now, Ricky, if you could transport a really angry elephant to any point in history, where would you put it?
I'd put him in the 60s, I think.
Like
I would just go back 50 years, 60 years.
Like, are we talking like downtown New York? Or
where would I put it? Or
when and where?
Okay, so
it's a mad elephant. He's pissed.
He's pissed off. So he needs room. He needs a lot of room to move.
Depends on what you want him to do.
Yeah, I can't put him in like New York City. He's gonna destroy shit. So you got to get.
Well, I mean, that would make for a pretty funny scene, but
yeah, but he's gonna fuck up the rest of the world. I can't have that happen. So I would just like a field, wide open field in Western Maryland in the 1960s.
Wow, very compassionate.
Is it a red elephant or is it not red?
Is it what?
Is it red? Like maybe it's just covered in like
Is the elephant red?
Yeah, it's covered in Frito.
No, he's a normal elephant. It's a bad day. You got to give him room.
Okay, but what if he was covered in Frito barbecue dust? Would you lick it? Like he produced it, and that's why he just got tired of the shit.
What if he was covered in? But what if he was covered in Warhead's hot sauce flavor? What would you do?
I'd be tempted to try it for sure. It's like that. You know that old, like when you try something when you're a kid and then you haven't had it for a long time, 10, 20 years, it brings back instant memories when you have it again.
And that's true. And but also the biggest trigger of memories is smell. Like you could smell something you smelled as a kid and it'll bring, you'll know you've smelled that before. It's weird the way smell works.
Yeah, and they don't use it much anymore. Like they don't use it a lot. Like just the power of smell,
Smell-o-vision is not a thing yet.
Yeah, no, that was
always just a joke. Yeah, there were scratch cards for it. Like in old times, they give you a scratch card.
And while you watched it?
Yeah, like you'd see a weird movie and you have a scratch card, and then you'd have to on the screen it would go like number 6.
That can't be true.
Scene. No, it's definitely true.
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
That's true. I'm thinking the Fear Footage 3 right now comes with a scratch card. Sniff along.
I'm giving you guys 2% of the cut on that one for that idea. I appreciate it.
You walk into an old sewer and then sniff number 6.
You walk into the creepy house and it's got a certain smell to it.
Yeah, but you make it cool. Like you have to hide these numbers like in the building somewhere. Just like spray paint number 6 on the back, on the wall.
True. Yeah.
Like, somebody puts a candle out and it's that like smell of like candle going out. Sulfur. Really, that'll put you right into. That's another level. You're in the movie and you can experience it through smell.
I mean, if that doesn't make you want to buy a Blu-ray, I don't know what is. If it comes with scratch cards.
Yeah.
And then you can order more for you like it, and then you want to have a big watch party with your friends, so they want to order give me 20 more of those scratch cards because I got a big bunch of people coming over.
Yeah, I want to experience this.
He's gonna really try to get this going, and the factories are gonna fuck up the smells, and he's gonna just hate his life now.
This is gonna backfire so bad.
Yeah, he's gonna want it so perfect, and they keep giving him banana when he wants.
Wants rubber, burnt rubber. It's like banana. Damn it.
It'll be the worst marketing strategy of all time. It's gonna backfire. I'm gonna spend so much money trying to get it going.
Scratch cards.
I feel like it can't be that expensive because you used to get them out of quarter machines. You used to have the scratch and sniff stuff.
Well, I've tried to do stuff with smell on a lot of, I think on stickers and candy. I try to work with the candy company doing some really weird stuff, and they have a hard time with the factories.
Really doing smell, huh?
Yeah, because usually it's overseas, and you tell them one thing and they don't understand what you're talking about when it comes to certain. So they'll just try to like slightly mix this and that, and it becomes some weird stench. Which for candy, it's the flavor too. It becomes the stench is the flavor.
God, those factories gonna smell so bad. Like there's this like I think about that for like when like Jelly Belly has like those mystery jelly beans or whatever, and like some of them smell, they taste like vomit or like grass, and
that's like the Bean Boozled you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, man, what do those factories smell like when they're mixing all this stuff?
Yeah, they're probably wearing masks. I tried the Skittles, the zombie Skittles. They weren't that bad. I think I had like one.
I didn't try those. I did the Bean Boozled. I haven't tried I don't like Skittles in general. So
yeah,
I definitely,
I don't go for them ever.
Yeah.
It's not
weird consistency with Skittles.
It's just a Starburst in a shell.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I don't want a chewable Starburst. I'll eat anything, but I don't like Skittles. I don't like jelly beans. That's my two bugaboos.
What about like a Now and Later?
I'll do it now and later.
They get stuck in your teeth though because you want to chew them, and then
don't chew them. I tell my wife that she'll put it in. It's gone in a minute. I'll have mine for an hour and a half. She's like, "How do you still have that?"
Well, some like to have it in their mouth now, and some like to have it in their mouth later. So
what about a jujube? You ever have jujubes?
I don't know if I've ever had one.
It's not a popular candy. It's kind of older. It used to be popular, but those things will pull your teeth out instantly.
I've heard. I don't know if I've ever had one.
Yeah, they're really hard. Like one of the hardest. They used to have them in the movie theaters, I remember. Back in the 20s.
At least it was in the 60s. You gotta watch out for raging elephants.
Yeah.
He's in a field, though. You're good.
Yeah, true story. Thankfully. Yeah, I remember Peggy Bundy. She always ate bonbons, and I was always like curious. I'm like, I want to Peggy. Well, so there's two things that bonbons are, and I recently got into not an argument, but a discussion about bonbons. I was like, bonbons are small like hard candies, and then they were like, no, they're like a chocolate.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a chocolate.
Right. But
I never knew they were hard.
No, there's two different versions, but they're both called bonbons, and this is where we were confused because there's two, so we were both right. So I'm like, it's small hard candy.
Ice cream. There's also like an ice cream.
Bonbon ice cream?
Yeah.
What flavor is it?
Like chocolate and vanilla.
But yeah, so it's different things. But I think the stuff that Peggy Bundy is eating is the little hard candies, I think.
I remember. Because I always
remember her, hard candies.
Of course, I always remember her wanting bonbons, and I never knew what they were. But I thought, like, I looked into this at some point, and they were the chocolate. I feel like there was an episode where she's eating them. Yeah, maybe not. Definitely. I don't know.
There's no way they're hard candies.
I'm looking it up now.
Look it up. I feel like it was the chocolate.
No, they were the fruitful wrapped fruit bonbons. Like
wow.
You know those things that they look like a strawberry?
Yeah. I know what they are. Yeah.
And you open it up and it's like the hard candy. That's called a bonbon. That's like, but it's two words are hyphenated, and then the chocolate one is one word bonbon. So it's both, but yeah, maybe she is eating the chocolate.
She might have just been eating both. Both her candies had the same name. What are the odds?
Either way, I thought housewives ate nothing but bonbons. Married with Children really just put a bad impression on what I thought the world was like.
Children on nowadays, it would be canceled in a half season. I mean, the way he talked to her and shit, you can't do that nowadays.
Yeah, well, but she dished it back though. She did dish it back.
But
it was a fun show for the time. Tang sandwiches.
It was relatable.
Yeah, it was like for poor people, basically. So it was relatable for me.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, shoe salesman is the worst job you could ever have in the world. Like I thought that was like the bottom of the barrel, like job. But
tough salary.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, he was always putting like shoes on like people's feet, but I've never gone into a shoe store and forced them to put a shoe on my foot.
Wasn't he into it though? Because you get like hot girls once in a while, and he was really into it.
Yeah, but most of the time he didn't. He got
he hated it, but every now and then a hot chick will come in.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, gotta revisit Married with Children. It's been a while, and that's one of the best sitcoms ever.
It was good for its time for sure. I don't know if I can go back, but it was fun.
No, you could definitely go back.
Yeah.
Well, remember the first season was a different Steve, the neighbor.
Yeah, it was.
Or no, it was Steve, and then it turned into Jefferson.
Yeah. But I feel like it was Steve for a while. Wasn't it like a couple seasons?
Maybe it was. Yeah, I might be misremembering.
Like because it was on for probably like 10 seasons or something.
Yeah.
So I think like it was the other guy for a little while, and then it moved on.
Yeah. They kicked off Fox. That was like Fox's kickoff show. So put it on the map.
That and The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons did too.
Yeah, both of those.
Yeah,
that was their animation and that.
Yeah.
And they were doing stuff differently than all of TV. It was so groundbreaking for its time. You know, and
The Simpsons is still going strong. I don't know one person that watches The Simpsons, but it's still going. I don't know how.
Yeah,
I think it's got its fans. It's got its cult following.
Like I don't even know like any young, kids like 13 that should be watching it that watch it.
No, I think it's older fans. Yeah, I guess they have enough older fans that will constantly watch it.
If The Simpsons get canceled, that's going to be a big deal. That's been around for like 40 years.
Now that you said it, it's probably definitely going to be canceled. It wasn't 40 years.
We'll all watch that final season.
Well, the last episode I think would be watched, and it probably suck. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know how they would end it, but if that gets canceled, that's been around for like 40 years.
Yeah, they only did one movie, right? Like the Dome.
Yeah, I never seen the movie though. I feel like the movie was like 20 years too late.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Everybody that liked it as a kid was already like 30 years old when the movie came out.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. I think that pretty much wraps up our talk. It was enjoyable to get to know about your film and your process for both films, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, and so the Fear Footage 2 just released recently.
Friday the 13th. It was March 13th. So the Fear Footage and the Fear Footage 2 are both on Amazon for rent by. The Blu-rays you can get it at thefearfootage.com.
Okay, awesome. And then you got some social media stuff too. Where can people find out more?
Instagram, it's at the Fear Footage, and Facebook is same thing, the Fear Footage. So you'll be able to find on either one, or you could just go to the website, thefearfootage.com, and it'll take you there from there.
Awesome. That's so cool. So yeah, Ricky Umberger, thanks for being on the podcast. It was awesome getting to talk to you and learning about all the cool stuff you've been doing. So thanks for coming along.
Appreciate it, guys. Had a good time.